Test, test, test. Video, no problem. No sound. Now there should be sound now, right? Okay. Finally, yay. Finally. I'm so stupid. I've been talking for like 30 minutes without sound. Oh my God. So I'm not sure what to do. Well, okay. So let's see. Yeah, this OBS, sometimes well, I mean, it's so far it's been pretty good for my basic usage, but I guess like it crashes, whenever I change something, it crashes. Then today it just somehow that the sound part didn't pick up. So let me read the comments. So break the loop. Great to see you, and George. Great to see you. And hi, Pav. Okay, so I do not think your sound has been working. Yeah. So yeah, that's so funny. So I was thinking, we're gonna do a IRC chat. So this is gonna be like a new exploration. Like this is not a podcast. You have these weird terminologies. Podcast, which is actually just a live streaming of audio. That's the proper term, but we call it podcast. Then you have broadcast, which is usually refer to corporations. Then you have a video live stream. Then but if individual does that, usually it's called live stream from originating from the gamer community, I suppose, kind of. So anyway, so so I was thinking, so we're gonna do we have a video live streaming, but no sound. But instead, I type and you guys type, so it's gonna be a new chapter of stuff. Uh, oh wow, you're gonna donate me a second monitor. That would be so much appreciated. Actually, yeah. Uh, yeah, I need a second monitor so I can always see the chat on the screen. I think, I think actually to properly see the chat. For example, right now I'm seeing the chat, right? That's not what people usually do. I mean, the chat is supposed to be like visible just to me and doesn't show on my screen, so that I can talk about things on my screen and I can meanwhile see your chat. But so usually I think the way people do it is that there are some options here. I can add some kind of a sometimes the extension. I don't know, but I think that's the way people do it. So I can see the chat and but yeah, I mean second monitor. Actually, yeah. So break the loop. Let's that would be appreciated for sure. Maybe know um, I invite you to dinner. you know, uh, next this week or something. Let's talk about that offline. Uh, what was the problem? Yeah, the problem is the OBS. I think this audio input. You set it to it was set to default, and default was anyway. So it's something to do with that. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna I contact you Twitter something. So okay. So what we do? So I just wasted like 30 minutes talking about JavaScript, JavaScript, and mouse. So should we go back and talk about those topics, or should we let's just talk about something else? Do you know if your Logitech mouse custom keybind works in Linux? Yes, it does. So that's why I say when you buy a mouse or when you buy a keyboard, one of the most important things you want is you want programmable mouse or programmable keyboard with built-in memory. That part is important because some mouse, such as those made by Razer, they market it as programmable, but actually, if you do not install their software And if you do not have an internet connection, your buttons, your custom buttons doesn't work. So you don't want to buy anything Razer. Anything made by Razer don't is no good. Logitech is pretty good. So this applies to keyboard as well as mouse. You want to buy programmable ones and with built-in memory. When you buy, if you look at my website, I have like, you can pick the one you want, and I usually talk about whether it has built-in memory. Basically, all Logitech is good. Or Logitech mouse is good. For mouse, I usually trust just Logitech. I don't buy any others. I don't. In particular, you don't want anything from Razer, like like this one Razer. Um, but anyway, so yeah, so once you have a programmable mouse with built-in memory, that means you program it one time. Okay, how you program it depends on the mouse, but usually it's a Windows software. You run, you start the application. It's available for the Mac as well. Then you set which key you want to do what, such as copy, Control C, for example. Then it's set in the memory firmware. Then you can trash the software. You don't need it anymore. I mean, usually you keep it, but you don't need it anymore. You can bring the mouse to Office or any computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, plug in, you press the key wheel does exactly what you programmed, such as Control C or whatever. For example, yeah, so I was talking about, okay, I kind of wasted, previous silent talk. So I was talking about why you need 10 buttons mouse and why you need a spinning wheel. Okay, let's maybe go over that a little bit. So you see so my mouse, you see, for if so all these buttons I have programmed that does things on my, for example, you see this one. Okay, so let's go back. For example, let's click on that. Okay, click. Now, if I want to go back, I just press this key. Go back. Oh, wait. Hold on. So these top two keys is previous tab, previous tab, previous tab. Next tab, next tab, next tab. So for example, on my Firefox, usually I like, oops, usually I switch among, I didn't load them before, but anyway, so you see, I can switch among tabs in anything tab I want. And if I want to close the tab, I have this one, I just close the tab. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, okay, close the tab. Oops, shit, I closed the wrong window. But anyway, so like close the tab, close, switch to some tab I want, close. Okay, oh, I closed by mistake. Reopen, reopen, reopen. You see, so I can I can fly through my tabs, and I can let's see, fly through, and I can close anyone I want, and I can reopen them. I can create a new tab. I can close it. I can then copy, cut, paste. It's all one single key press operation. So I'm doing that on my mouse. So this, for example, yeah. So you see, switch back and forth, and also, for example, on this page, yeah. Oh shit, you didn't see it. My video technique is still pretty bad. Let's see. So you see switch tabs, and if I click on that, I can go back with this key, forward, back, forward, back, forward. And if I want to close this window, I press this key at the bottom, close. You see, so it only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 5 useful programmable keys. And if I nudge the wheel left and right, left is zoom in, right is zoom out. So many pages, this is very useful because many pages you want to zoom out. especially if you get when you get old, like you need it to be bigger. So yeah, so my point was about, so I was saying why you need 10 buttons mouse, and so my point is about, so that's why, so it's, so your hand stays on the mouse, you don't have to go back to the keyboard, then switch to last tab is like control, and it's different in different browsers and different operating systems. So on general and on Linux is control left arrow, I think. So like you switch your hand back to the keyboard, control left arrow to, to switch tab, or to go back to the previous page. Then you go back to the mouse again, that you don't want. And so that is why you get a 10 buttons mouse. It's efficient. Your hand is just there, you can do everything. um so that was like one of the things I was talking about. 10 buttons mouse, and the spinning wheel is greatly important. For example, I'm like spinning this page, my hand is here. uh, it's a feature you want, uh, especially especially on this page, like very long, like my hand is here, I can just see it, scroll over, and I can stop at any position I want. So yeah, that's about the mouse. So I was, talking silently about which mouse, how you pick a mouse for programmers, not for gamers, for programmers. So let's see the comments. I have a problem. Oh, you have a Razer mouse. So break the loop says I have a problem with currently with Razer mouse, where the mouse settings do not automatically work when connected. Yeah, that's the problem. Uh, yeah, so Razer mouse, it's very because they are very big. When a company gets very big, they become pretty bad usually. Because why? Because actually Razer, for some of their models, they actually intentionally remove the memory or remove the programmability. They actually, did that for some of the things, the Razer stuff. Then they create this software, kind of like called the driver software. You always have it running in order for your keys to work, for your customer keys to work. And sometimes also it requires you to have an internet connection for your set of keys to work. If you don't have internet connection, your keys don't work. They do that, then they market it as a like, oh, cloud. And they have a term, Razer synapses, yeah, synaptic, they call it synaptic. Then all the ignorant gamers is like, oh, synaptic technology, we're gonna get that. so so they do this because they actually, so they reduce, the cost for them, because you don't have memory anymore. And then you also create the cloud, so you gather all the people's data. You sell that data, of course, so the companies do that, so you make more money. Then and also they market to gamers, because frankly, not everyone is study about anything. Most people, like, even, I mean, me, I know about mouse, I know about programming, I know about keyboard, but if I'm going to buy a chair, I don't know nothing about a chair. So I'm just going to read, the marketing says, oh, this chair's got, adjustability in 5 ways. Oh, that looks good. I'm just gonna buy that chair. That's the same way with, other companies. So they actually grow and they become bigger. But for the connoisseurs, or if you actually know the stuff, uh, Razer is like the worst. Um, so Jordan, hey Jordan, how do you pronounce that? That the O with a slash. I mean, that is a Scandinavian uh, language thing, right? Joe with O with a slash. Jordan Loning. So he says +1 for building memory. I configured my Logitech G303 on Windows, and the settings work uh, wherever. Yes, Go3. Okay, Not sure about which one is G03. Let's see. I think, okay, it must be here. Is that Didacticus or something? G03. Wait, not here. Mouse weight comparison. G303. Okay, it's like this one, right? That Daedalus, Prime. They all have these names for gamers. Um, what kind of stuff do you bind to your 10 mouse buttons? Yeah, I think we just covered that. I did the demo, so I mean, if you want to know, okay, it's up to you. I mean, it's up to each person because maybe you are a Photoshop user, you are a gamer. Of course, for gamers, if you play a specific game, then you have some specific buttons you use. Um, but if you are average, for a programmer, most of my time at least, is spent in a lot in browsers. Like for example, like okay, let me show you. So my hand is on the mouse. Okay, like what one hand is on the mouse. I can so browser tabs, and you can close it, and then anyway, so let's go to this page then. Let me show you this page. So because I have detail about that. So why 10 buttons mouse? So that's some explanations about why 10 button mouse. So why do you need 10? So you need left click, right click, middle click, go to previous page, go to next page, close tab, previous tab, next tab, copy, paste, select all. Select all is also used in conjunction with copy. Like usually, for example, in a URL box, or in sometimes it's not selected. You want to select all and copy, and zoom in, zoom out. For example, I can zoom out on the mouse. I can zoom in. Um, so just this, you need 13 buttons already. So on this mouse I have, it doesn't really have that many. So I have about, yeah, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I have those. Um, then I discuss other things you desire. So yeah, so that's 10 buttons mouse. So I find using the mouse for George Jones says, I find using the mouse for just about anything breaks my focus. There is a mental context switch. Yeah, that's true, but I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you know, okay, so this is one of my big gripe about common programmers. They also tell you not to use the mouse. I mean, I mean, if I work in Emacs, I don't use mouse much. Never. Okay, actually, I do use scroll, but other than scrolling, I don't use the mouse. I use scroll in Emacs for a specific reason because actually the mouse scrolling is the most efficient way to navigate to scroll or page up and page down. But that's another topic. I mean, you may not agree with me on that. That's okay. Forget about the mouse. I mean, in Emacs, I don't use mouse at all. Like except for scrolling. Okay, I don't use the mouse. Like copy and paste, for example, cut that new buffer, paste. It's all keyboard operation. Close this buffer. Wait, where is I? Close this buffer. Don't save and undo. We are back to So I don't use the mouse in Emacs, but in the browser, it's actually kind of necessary, and especially if you have programmable mouse and 10 buttons, it's far more efficient. For example, let's say this window, okay? Let's say the Mastodon window. I don't need it anymore. You see the Mastodon window right here? I don't need it anymore. I want to close it. What do? You, well, you have to use, okay, one way with the mouse is you move and aim the cursor there, then you click. Okay, you want to avoid any aiming, kind of like you have to like carefully aim, don't do that. Let's open it back. Okay, don't do that. You always want to operate the computer in such a way that you can close your eyes, then just press a button somewhere. You can feel the button. Like I can close my eye. I know this one. I press the key, it's gone. Oh wait, that that was reopen last close. So so I just reopen last close, but I'm going to close it now. Close, and now I'm back in Mastodon page. I believe. Okay, now let's close it again. Now I open my eyes. Okay, I got it wrong apparently. But anyway, so you want to do it in a way so that it's button operation in such a way you don't have to like spend any brain cycle if you can. Okay, avoid brain cycle. Brain cycle is the worst. One example with brain cycle is this common in every operating system in Mac or Windows OS. This is a waste of your brain cycle. Like, oh, which window I wanted? There is it's over here. Oops, I went over. Let's press Shift, and you don't want any kind of that you have to like take a moment to think. So you want avoid that. And also the in Emacs there's a common package that's Ace Windows or called Ace Jump. That is, for example, you want to jump to specific place, you type a key, let's say S, then it has lots of choices like letters like A B C D E F G, like then you press the key to jump there. That's no good. Okay, in comparison to all possible ways, that's no good, because when it pops up all the letters, you have then to like visually identify which one. Then you have to like it takes a cycle of brain to pick which letter it is. You don't want that. So for me on Emacs, I navigate just by pressing keys, and visual with the visual contact. Visual contact is kind of if you can avoid visual contact, that's even better. But first of all, avoid the brain cycle. You don't want that. Then, if you can avoid visual contact, that's better. For example, closing a file, you don't need visual contact. For example, I can close my eyes. I know the key, is closed, and reopen. I'm back, right? So anyway, so muscle memory, pure muscle memory without visual contact and without brain cycle, that's the best. Then sometimes you may need visual contact, like I'm doing, like if I want to go to anyway. So then brain cycle like this is the worst. So I never, in all my videos, you never see me do this. Okay, I have a single key press that just switch to me to the last command. Like I can close my eyes. It just switch me to the last window or last app. So okay, that's one of the tip. Now okay, so back to the mouse. You see, a mouse is actually necessary. I mean, in the browser, a lot geeks, Vim users or some Emac, mostly Vim users, you have Pentactile or you have Vimperator. You install this extension, so the browser becomes like Vim Emacs keys, and you can, for example, you want to click this link, you type a key combination, then it shows like A B C D E F G. Then you pick the link, like this one would be B, I suppose. Then you press B, then it goes to that link. That's okay. That's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say that's no good. It's pretty good, but it's not optimal. It's not, in general, it's not. I wouldn't go for it. I mean, if you are really concerned about I mean, there are several issues. There's efficiency concern. There's speed concern. How fast you can do it. Efficiency is, efficiency is kind of speed part of. Then there's ergonomic concern. Ergonomic is like if you have to do this continuously, non-stop. Let's imagine, you are in a torture chamber. A devil put you in a torture chamber. You have to do the operations continuously for 10 hours non-stop. Then you can see, when you do that, then you can see which method is actually more ergonomic, because the less ergonomic ones, you begin to feel pain, or feel tired, or feel tired with your eyes, you begin to feel that. So this is how serious well, I don't want to say, well, I mean, this is kind of the way I'm thinking, how serious it is. Because for some people, if you have hand injuries, it is really that serious. Because for me, okay, there's other things. For example, I don't like the common saying about not using the mouse, because for me, I want to use the mouse because my hand is on the keyboard 10 hours a day. The thought about having to press a key, it hurts, just the thought of that. I want, oh yeah, I can move my hand away from the keyboard and do something different. You want that when you type certain amount, you start to want that. So so again, back to, all depends on how much you actually type. So I have another article here, key binding typing software, typing. Okay, you go to typing. This page is about typing and hand injury. Then there is a many tips about typing related issues and hand injury issues, and one of them is about um, uh, okay, go back here, go to software. Actually, go to software and keylog, list of keylog software. So I've been talking about this in several articles. You want to actually get a keylog, so you know exactly how much actually you type. Then, because programmers, data entry clerks, different people, or your mom and dad or your grandparents, they type, the amount you actually use the keyboard or mouse differs greatly. For average programmers, you may think this is everyone do, but actually no. Some other programmers, they type 10 times much than you. And you, compared to average web users, they go to Twitter or whatever, maybe your parents, or maybe they think they are in a different class. You type 10 times more than them, but each person thinks, you don't see other people. So that's important. You know how much. um, let's go to typing. So here is the article: how many keystrokes programmer type a day. And I talked about this yesterday or 2 days ago. So anyways, this is an article you can read. So you want to get the scientific details about all that. um, yeah, so that's about mouse versus keyboard. Also, I was going to say the mouse is important because Xali 3D, because for some operations, another reason. Okay, for some operations, okay, not this article. Okay, list of 3D modeling software. Okay, you see, I mean, you've seen these, right? 3D modeling software. You have uh, CAD and okay, let's turn on JavaScript. Uh, come on, show. Okay, reload. Okay, so you have all these 3D softwares, and you can see obviously, or Photoshop, obviously here the mouse is actually critical, or the pen tablet, or the pen tablet. Uh, so different input systems actually, in some situations you really need that. There's no way, if you use, the typical hacker, Vimperator or Vim, keyboard, it would hurt your hand. It would be much slower. You cannot do it. Okay, so I mean, when we are talking about browser, clicking links, you can kind of get away with not using a mouse with Vimperator, so-called Vimperators, but you just can't in general. Like for this, it's more efficient if you actually use the trackball or mouse, or pen tablet. You know, So that's the point. You see, this is one of the point about efficiency. There's a different different tools for different jobs, right? That's a common saying. So okay, back to I hope that sometimes I protract, some things. I hope not. I'm not doing that. So 1 hour and 7 minutes. Okay, so let's go back to the comments. Excellent mouse button analysis. I'm gonna try to find a mouse with 10 buttons. Yeah, I need to. Okay, there's another thing you should be careful about 10 buttons because for 10 buttons mouse, there is a there's this type. This is got 20 buttons. Okay, this mouse got 20 buttons, and there are many similar. This is called, typically they call it MMO mouse, which stands for massive multi online gaming mouse, for a certain type of games, not first person shooter, but anyway, so they call this like MMO something mouse. Okay, um, I have this one. Actually, I'm not using it right now, but let me show you quickly. So you can see. So you see, this is one of them. This is from China. They sent it to me actually to review. But this one is not a good one. I haven't used it, and they sell. Usually Chinese ones are like 2 times cheaper than American ones if you buy on Amazon. And this is the Logitech. It lights up. Actually, I should. Well, I don't know if you guys want to see that, but why not? Let's plug it in. Um, there it is. You see, so I can actually change. You see, they have three profiles, which means three set of. So I have programmed them. So this is when it's white, it's for Linux. When it's red, it's for Mac, I think. Blue is Windows, because the keyboard shortcut are different. Um, so there's this type of mouse with lots of like a number pad on the side. You can program them. So I've been using that for like three years or even more. Uh, but I have one mouse for each hand, so you cannot like 10 mouse on this desk. Okay, but one thing about this MMO mouse is that those buttons are not um, comparatively are not easy to press compared to, for example, compared to this one, or compared to this one, or compared to this one, for example. Although it's got like more buttons, so you can do more things with it without moving your hand. But the problem is that the mouse buttons is harder to identify and harder to press. But you can, though. I mean, you can. But anyway, it takes more effort to press them as well. So there's a kind of trade-off. Depending, I mean, the thing is depends on how much you are in front of a computer. Really, I think for average people that's okay. I mean, you can get this mouse, more buttons. But for me, like I avoid, like I have like previous tab, next no, forward tab, forward page, backward page, previous tab, next tab, copy, cut, paste, close tab, uh, zoom in, zoom out, and maximize window. Okay, so that's my settings for that mouse. And I mean, it's great, but I try not to use them. I rather prefer keys because it's when you use it like for many hours, it's not it's it's hard on your hands. So you can get this if you don't really type that much, but or as half an hour a day, using a mouse, that's maybe an hour. But anyways, the others, for example, this, they got fewer buttons, but however, their button is more pronounced and easier to press and easier to identify. Like, I mean, even this one, I don't have to look at the buttons like, oh, which one button, I don't have to, like, I can feel it. But still, the other ones are easier to use. uh, okay, I need to find an ambidextrous. I don't. Oh, left-handed, I don't recommend it. Ambidextrous, so I have some left-handed mouse. uh, for left-handed people, your options are severely limited. So, for example, Razer sells this left-handed MMO mouse, but actually, I think they don't make it anymore. This is back in 2014. Yeah, currently unavailable. You see, they don't make it anymore. And yeah, again, you don't want to buy Razer anyway. Yeah, so for left-handed, your options are basically very limited. Or get a trackball, get a trackball instead. But also the other thing about ambidextrous mouse. In general, I don't recommend them um, because once you get the ambidextrous, here's another example of MMO mouse. But anyway, for the ambidextrous, for example, this one or this one, they they are symmetric on both sides. That basically means, all the buttons on the other side are wasted. You're just gonna never use it, or if you use them, it's gonna be awkward. Like you're gonna cramp your hand. So it reduces. Half of the buttons are gone, and um, um, so in general, I don't recommend it. You want to get a dedicated left-hand mouse, but that's kind of far in between. You don't find them, and also very expensive. So on the other hand, so what I do is, so I have this. Each key is like a function key. I can close window and copy paste and so on. I use that in conjunction with that. And the left side, sometimes it's a mouse. Sometimes, for example, I might have this. Sometimes it's a trackball. But for trackball, I just use it for cursor movement. I don't, uh, like I don't have to click. I just move to the place I want, and it does a click itself. Um, so yeah, so instead of buying a ambidextrous mouse, you might just get two mouse. I mean, or actually one mouse and one trackball. I mean, no, one mouse and one programmable keypad. That's a good thing. Programmable keypads. You want a programmable keypad. Any of these is pretty good. Um, yeah. So one hand, let's say left hand mouse, right hand programmable keypad, or you can get a trackball. Uh, yeah, I can. I show you some. I recommend all these four, and these are big balls, and I also recommend all these four small balls. There is no right answer for trackball, because each person have different preference. So I mean, for trackball, there's a less of a consensus of which one is the best, because trackball, they differ by quite a lot. The shape, the general shape, where the buttons are. So some people, I read hundreds of the reviews. Some really like that. Some think this is the best. Some think that is the best. So it depends on the person. Yeah, and then also you have big balls. Then you have thumb operated boards like these two, or you have middle finger operated boards. These two are these all these four are small. They are kind of smaller boards. And again, so is thumb operated board better or the index finger? There's no consensus. I mean, I read all the reviews. Is some people really like thumb. Some people really like index finger. Uh, but the web is graphical. Mouse is necessary. Yeah, maybe a 3D Studio, Maya and 3D Studio Max. Yeah, and Danielle, hey Danielle, the only genuine complaint I have seen for Razer products is that the manufacturing QA blows. Yeah, I heard of that as well. So I think that's for today. Maybe any any questions? Hey, how's it going, George? So you back from vacation? If you are still here. So you mean so how is the Starfly keys? Anything new doing for you? Rome was fun. Yeah, Rome, the great Rome, the Roman Empire, the glory of Rome. Rome is not built in one day. That was a saying, a maximum. I forgot what's the source or um, you know, not a lot of time in for Emacs new stuff. Okay, so Restore says, Restro says, I use Corsair Scimitar, 12 buttons and IQ software make the mouse very useful for Emacs. Oh, okay. Yeah, Corsair is also a big brand. Uh, Corsair, it has internal memory, right? So anything else? Anything else? I think maybe that's it for today. It's kind of too bad, the first half an hour it's silent. Okay, anyway, I learned a new thing. So about mouse, about trackballs, non novi imacum. What does that mean? Solve. Uh, yeah, well, I think that's it for today. Yeah, that's nothing new for Emacs. Oh, so is that Latin? Oh, Latin. Okay, now what? I don't know how to pronounce Latin. Okay, thank you for guys. Thank you guys for coming. So that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.